Who was the influential Buddhist monk Xuanzang? Xuanzang was a Buddhist monk born in the year 602 in what is now Henan Province in China, who undertook a pilgrimage to India to learn Sanskrit and translate sacred scriptures into the Chinese language. On his return to China, he founded the Buddhist Consciousness Only School in the city of Chang'an, now Xi'an. He died in that city in the year 664, having completed 75 translations of the 1,335 chapters he brought back from India. This video tells the historic story of this character, who is revered in China for his devotion to his religious study across the majority of his life. Most people in the Western world only know of Xuanzang through the classic Chinese comic novel Journey to the West, written by the novelist and poet Wu Cheng'en, who lived during the era of the Ming Dynasty 1368 to 1644. The novel is based on the 7th century pilgrimage of Xuanzang, a Buddhist monk who underwent an arduous journey to India in search of sacred texts. When the novel was written, it was already a firmly established tale of Chinese folk and literary tradition, including colloquial stories, a poetic novelette, as well as a multi-part drama. Wu Cheng'en composed a novel of 100 chapters subdivided into 3 main sections, with the first featuring 7 chapters telling the story of a monkey born with magical powers. The novel continues telling of 81 adventures on a mission to find the Western Paradise. In addition to the monkey, the group of adventurers consisted of a slow-witted and rather clumsy pig and a fish spirit known as Sandy. There was an English translation completed in 1942 by Arthur Waley, simply known as Monkey, which has been reprinted several times. Another updated version called Journey to the West was published in the 1970s with a 4th volume in 1983. Now back to the original story. Xuanzang's fame rests mainly on the sheer volume and diversity of the translations he completed on the Buddhist sutras. He was also renowned for the records of his travels throughout Central Asia and India, which together offered historians and archaeologists a wealth of detail which has been regarded as of inestimable value. Xuanzang was born into a family of scholars and received a classical Confucian education, but the influence of an older brother took his interest of Buddhist scriptures to another level, and he soon converted to Buddhism. Together with his brother, they travelled first to Chang'an before moving on to Sichuan province to escape the political turmoil that China found itself in at that time. While he was in Sichuan, Xuanzang began to study Buddhist philosophy, but he was troubled by several discrepancies and contradictions he found in the text. Without getting suitable answers from his Chinese masters, he took it upon himself to travel to India to find the answers at the headquarters of his chosen religion. Xuanzang was not given permission to travel, so he left in secret in the year 629. He travelled first to the north of the Taklamakan Desert and through several centres of civilization before arriving into Central Asia at Samarkand. He then changed direction through the Hindu Kush Mountains into Kashmir, which today is in northern India. He sailed along the Ganges River as far as Mathura to the centre of Buddhism on the eastern reaches of the Ganges, arriving in the year 633. During his time in India, Xuanzang visited all the sacred sites associated with the life of Buddha, including travelling along both the east and west coasts of India. The majority of his time was spent at the Nalanda Monastery, a great centre of learning. While there, he perfected his studies of Sanskrit, Buddhist philosophy, and Indian thought. His reputation as a scholar while in India even drew the attention of the ruler of North India, King Harsha, who requested an audience with him. After 10 years of study in India, together with the king's blessing, Xuanzang began his return journey to China. On his arrival back in Chang'an in 645, after an absence of 16 years, he was made welcome and presented before the Emperor Taizong. The emperor offered Xuanzang a ministerial post, but the monk respectfully declined the offer, stating that he preferred to serve his chosen religion. Xuanzang spent the rest of his life earnestly translating the 657 Buddhist scriptures he brought back from India, that amounted to 520 packing cases. In the 19 years until his death, Xuanzang was able to translate a small part of this voluminous collection, just 75 items among the 1,335 chapters. But his work included the translation of some of the most important Mahayana scriptures. During the remainder of his life, the main interest of Xuanzang was centered on the philosophy of the Yogacara school. Together with his disciple Kuiji, they were responsible for the creation of the Consciousness Only School in China. The main thesis of the school was that the whole world is but a representation of the mind. While Xuanzang and Kuiji were alive, the school received some degree of eminence and popularity, but once the two masters had died, the school's popularity quickly went into decline. However, a Japanese monk, Dosho, who arrived in China in the year 653 to study under the guidance of Xuanzang, returned to his native Japan once he completed his studies and introduced the ideology of the school in his home country of Japan. During the late 7th and 8th centuries, the school, known as Hoso in Japan, was the most influential Buddhist school to be found in Japan. In addition to his translations, Xuanzang also composed Datang Shiyu Ji, or Records of the Western Regions of the Great Tang Dynasty. It was a detailed record of the countries Xuanzang passed through on his epic journey to and from India. When Xuanzang passed away, the Tang Emperor cancelled all his audiences for 3 days out of reverence for the Buddhist monk. That is all for this video. If you have enjoyed watching and it has shown you a little detail of life here in China, then your subscribing to my channel would mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching. Make sure you click on the link. Till the next video, and until the next time, goodbye for now.